Hey sweethearts, it's Mama Radha. Hope you guys are having a great day. I was sort of thought I would try to talk about something happy because there's just been so much stressful and unhappy things going on. The world, and of course, you know, I was trying to do a shorter version of my thank you testimony for Mr. Samuels to send to Mr. Sperling, and it's just emotional. So anyway, I thought, what's Daddy's favorite time to give smacks? Yeah, last night, it's at night. That's his favorite time. I tend to lay on my belly and I snuggle up next to him. And so, you know, there's easy access. And I guess at the end of the night, we tend to think of things. And so, you know, that's when things come to mind. And he's like, you know what? And they'll get some smacks. So anyway, but that's what I want. And yesterday morning, I was grumpy. You know, he's been getting up at 4, like, oh my gosh, so much, and working doubles and this and that. And I am so tired, and I don't even have to go to work. I just get up and get all his stuff ready and then take care of the kids and all that. Anywho, but I was grumpy, I was fussy, but I still did my run, so he was proud of me. But you know, so he was like, yeah, this is for the attitude. So, and it's so funny because you know, I smile. I end up, maybe not in the middle of it, but I always end up smiling, and it just makes me happy. It just is what it is. And I enjoy his correction, and it's like a weird thing of like, oh, you care enough to correct me. Thank you, Daddy. You know, it's so funny, but it's true. And I'm telling you, oh my goodness gracious, trying to get myself together to do my testimony for Mr. Samuels, it just kind of took me back to where I was at the period of time when I found his videos and started binging them. And just basically how my mind was driving me crazy. I mean, basically between having the epiphany of just how valuable my husband is and me getting older and just knowing how many women are actually attracted to him and want him and all this and that, I was losing my mind. But the main thing that I learned from all of these things is that my own imagination did more damage and created more bull than anything else. It's like my husband is used to attention from women. It wasn't something new. He doesn't flaunt the fact that he makes more money or anything like that. So he's always been used to just, he's handsome and he's a bodybuilder. So, you know, he's used to women looking, even though he acts like he doesn't notice. But I, knowing that now you also make the figures that attract these women, I was freaking out about it. And I was just like, oh, you're going to want to replace me. I'd want to replace me. You know, I don't look like that. And I was just freaking out. And so it just, I realized how much my own imagination caused me so much pain and grief, which then caused him pain and grief, because I couldn't just take his word for it. The fact that he's been telling me from day one, you're my queen, you're my wifey, you're my love. I ain't going nowhere, you ain't going nowhere. You know, I'll love you forever. And over the years, his love has just gotten stronger and deeper for me because he's seen my faithfulness, my loyalty, you know, and how I have been there for him through all the ups and downs in our marriage, nursing him back to health, all kinds of things. You know, I told you guys he almost died like 10 times. So, you know, it just really, when I look at women that I know, I see how much, I don't know what is wrong with us. Our own imaginations stir up so much drama that isn't even there. We can turn one little thing into a huge freaking shit show that it doesn't need to be. And honestly, that's why women were like looked at and didn't talk, basically. It was seen and not heard, basically, you know, because there's too much going on up in our brains. And if we're allowed too much freedom, to just say whatever we want, think what we want, whatever, we tend to self-destruct. And I have such a wonderful husband who's trained me, who's taught me, but my own emotions and my own imagination were just getting out of control. And, you know, again, that's why I'm grateful for the manosphere and the red pill content, and especially Mr. Samuels and all the hard work that he did. And I saw all those women call in, and I said, I do not want to be like these women. But, you know, like I was saying, even the women I know in my own life have allowed their imaginations, their fantasies, and all these kinds of things to just ruin their actual real life. And I've watched women's fantasies and ideas and imaginations home wreck their families, destroy their families. So, you know, it's very, very important. And it's so funny because women would say, what are you saying? You know, you can't even just think what you want. No, you really can't. And in the Bible, it says to submit every thought under subjection to Christ Jesus. And in your natural life, you should be thinking the things that your husband wants you to think, and doing the things that you know that he wants you to do. And usually, if you're married to a good-willed man, they're good things. There's nothing bad that he's going to ask you to do or ask you to think about. You know what I'm saying? So it's not bad. It's for your own good. I just saw a story, an article that I screenshotted, recorded, and posted about a woman who left her 14-year marriage over some guy that she met at a dinner party, and just her heart was beating, and she felt like their breath was aligned and all kinds of stupid crap, and she never even talked to him, I think more than just saying hello. And she imagined this whole fantasy of, oh, we were soulmates, meant to meet, in our eyes, they kindled a whole romance, or whatever nonsense she said. And then she hadn't even spoke with him, and left her husband. And then when she finally got in touch with the guy, she was rejected. And it's like, bro, you're an idiot. You know, but that's how powerful a woman's emotions and imaginations can be. She can fabricate a whole entire life up in her mind that is not happening. And that's the truth. Some women are not going to like it, but that is the truth. And we can ruin our own situation, ruin our own families, ruin our own homes, ruin our children. You know, and how devastating is that? And you can't put that back together again, you know. Most men are not going to take you back, and they really shouldn't. Why should they? You show that you're disloyal. You show that you're untrustworthy, and that you'll leave at the drop of a dime if some guy is smiling and breathing the way that you like. Like, that's disgusting. So anyway, and if you saw a picture of that lady, she really looked crazy. Maybe that guy finally dodged a bullet and got out of that marriage, you know. Hope he finds a nice lady. Maybe don't get married this time, but anyway. But it's just a travesty. So, you know, and I know other people, they broke up their home, thought they'd be better off, left their children. And you know what's amazing? The one gal I talk about a lot, she plans to go back to school and get her doctorate, her PhD. And I thought, that's what Mr. Samuel said. What do women do when all else fails? They don't know what else to do. Go back to school, because it's something that they think they're good at, you know. And it's just going to be more stress, more debt, not going to get anywhere. And what good is it going to do you? Can't even keep a job now. I mean, you know, just for the title, it's going to make you feel better. How about you go home and take care of your children? But anyway, it's just unbelievable. So the stories that women tell themselves are unbelievable. And vibing with Run, I really, really, you have to get used to. He is incredibly honest and truthful and raw. So that's cool. I'm good with that. But a lot of women have a hard time listening to that kind of talk. But it's truthful, and it's really down to the most fundamental base facts about society, because we would not have anything without men. We wouldn't have the protection, we wouldn't have the roads, we wouldn't have the internet, blah 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 blah. Everything is because of men, and that's the truth. You know, anyway, but he did one about fathers. Whew. I was losing it. You gotta watch it. It's a really good one. And the scene with Will and his uncle, when his biological father comes and goes out of his life in that episode, it gets me every time, because it's so, whew, it's what a lot of children feel. And how many children don't even have an Uncle Phil in their life? But women, when you leave your families and you break your families apart, that's what you're doing to your child. You know, so since 8 out of 10 divorces are initiated by women, then women are more to blame. And one of the episodes that Mr. Samuels did was, you know, how do you want your man to cheat? And it was like, do you want a Coretta and Martin Luther King, you know, relationship, or do you want a Jada Will Smith relationship, you know? And I was surprised how many women said Will and Jada. And the reason they did that is because it was open. So that means it was fair, you know, and all this kind of nonsense, the egalitarian and that idea. And it was like, no, look, those kids are messed up. You know, helly weird is what I call Hollywood, helly weird. But anyway, and it's amazing to me the hate, again, that Mr. Samuels is getting. Oh, he's telling men to fornicate and adulterer and this, that, blah, 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 all sorts of things. Pretty sure Martin Luther King is a hero. Okay, according to our society. All right, according to what we're told and what we believe, and standing up, you know, I have a dream and all those things, right? You know, my mom told me years ago that he had at least one mistress, if not others, and children, and, you know, not in his marriage and all that. You know, but his wife knew her role and her place was to be Martin Luther King's wife. Nobody else got that privilege or that honor, or his estate or any of those things. You know, those were reserved for her. And so it's like, okay, well, if you can understand that, then why can't you understand what Mr. Samuels is trying to say? You know, that high value men that are rare, men that are in demand for whatever purpose it is that they're serving, have always had more options, whether they take them or not. And, you know, the hate and the vitriol is just really, really sad. And the Fox Soul is just an absolute disgusting. I've seen them do other shows that I was just disgusted. It was like, oh, I think they're talking about Mr. Samuels on that one too. It was a lady and 2 guys. And I want to say the 2 guys were supposed to be homosexual. And I'm like, isn't this a Christian channel? But whatever. And they were calling Mr. Samuels gay. And I was like, why are you guys calling him gay? Isn't that like a bad thing to do? Or isn't that like you're what do you call it? Slandering? Or well, that's if it's false, which it is false, but you're discriminating, you're, what would the ACLU say, homophobic, you know, whatever you want to say. That's not appropriate. You're not supposed to say those things about people. So if he was gay and you're calling him these names, very bad names that we're not supposed to say, all right, but for some reason you're allowed to say it, like, it's just a mess. Hypocrites, haters, you know, whatever. Because guess what? None of these people actually want people to heal. None of them want you to wake up from the feminist gynocentric society agenda that they have, which destroys the family. They all want you to just keep suffering and separating and living independent lives. And they want control of the children, because when a family is a family, children grow up with morals and values and they become productive members of society. But that's not what they want. They want people that are broken and are easy to manipulate, easy to program, and will just follow whatever the state says. Sheep, that's what they want. So anywho, boy, I get from one topic to another. But basically, you know, I just was thinking how much imaginations in women is dangerous. Very dangerous. It can be used for good. I told you guys how I imagined my husband if he was a king, literal king. How would I treat him? And I used that fantasy idea in my mind in our everyday life. The Queen Esther story really inspired me, and I didn't want to be a Vashti. I wanted to be a Esther. And I learned how to have timing when I wanted to ask my husband things. I learned how to approach him with humility and give him honor, you know, and tell him all the wonderful things about him before I asked him things, you know, and just to treat him with true reverence and awe, AWE. And that is definitely missing it today. And you see some of these videos of some of these young women, God have mercy. You would have think they escaped from a zoo and not, you know, they somebody's mama. God have mercy. Anyway, I don't know. That's why the other content creators think there's no hope. And can you blame them? Because it's pretty bad out here. They twerking everywhere. They're twerking in the club. They're twerking on their kids. They got their kids in the bathroom taking pictures of them half naked. I mean, God have mercy. Really, we're a mess. And this is what happens when you give women rights, freedom, and liberation. Isn't that a shame? Isn't that a shame, ladies, that it's to this point? There are pictures that I get on Instagram that literally not only show their whole ass, okay, which I don't know how that's possible, because there is no age restrictions on there, so it means kids can see this. One of them was pulling up the cheeks, laying sideways, so you could see their lips, not these. And I was like, bruh, woo, wow. So I couldn't help it. I wrote on there something about modern women, I don't need no man, Miss Independent. And meanwhile, something like, and look, here's my lips. You know, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I'm a smart ass. But I want him to think about it. Oh, I don't need no man. Meanwhile, all you got to do is show your ass. I mean, come on. It's disgusting. It's so sad. I'll see you out here curing cancer, getting your doctorate, a real doctorate, not some bullcrap doctorate in like freaking humanities or some crap. Okay, anyway, I got to get it together, but I love you guys. It's just a mess. So I don't know what we're going to do. I've had many men ask if I am for repealing the 19th Amendment, and I don't know how they would do that. I'm for it. I mean, I'm totally fine. My husband could vote for his whole household. I am good with that. And by the way, back then, women did vote. If their husband passed away, they voted in their place. So, you know, they always just tell you part of the truth. They never tell you the whole truth. And sometimes it's just flat out lies. So, yeah. Well, I don't know, guys. I'm going to shut up because I'm rambling, but I love you. And, I can't wait. My daddy's going to be on vacation next week and he needs it and I need it. So if you don't see me too much, that's why, unless I come back with some fun stories, because I'm sure we'll be a little naughty. At least I will. So, and I'm so grateful for that. But anywho, oh, so yeah, when we see the collapse of society, that will be the time that they can be like, okay, guess what? That whole women's voting thing did not work out. We're not doing that again. I'm just saying. All right. Anyways, ciao. Love you. Bye.